Folks, please don't ignore these red flags. I'll explain what I mean and then get into the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending October 22nd, 2025. If you want to speak directly with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. I'm looking at houses with one of our buyer clients. We pull up to this one house, and the way the home looks in the front, the lawn, perfectly manicured. Very exciting to see when people take care of their homes this way. The neighbors, what a mess. The front lawn looked like it had more weeds than grass. There was stuff, other stuff lying out there. It looked like they just didn't put their personal stuff away. But we're excited about the house we're going to look in. So we go inside. My clients are liking this house. It's got a few updates. It's good size, great neighborhood. We go into the basement. It's an unfinished basement, so we can see all the foundation walls. We could see and everything. And as you're down there, there's a sense of there's a bit of it's like a humidity type of smell. And I wasn't sure if it was actual water, humidity, or maybe just the fact that it was closed for a certain amount of time and the air circulation wasn't there. But on one side, we do notice that there's potential moisture coming in from the outside. It's not like water was flowing, but you can see the stains on the wall, on the foundation wall. Look like there's potentially some water issue. Now, keep in mind, we're at a showing. This is not a home inspection. We don't have a home inspector. This is just us doing a visual, kind of a visual inspection, looking at things. Well, we go outside to kind of see if we can see any water issues happening from the outside. And we notice that the neighbor's downspout is basically aimed right up. It's aimed at the house we're looking at. And it didn't take much to figure out that rainwater coming out of this downspout is going to shoot right up against the house we're looking at. So maybe this is the issue of why there's some moisture up against that wall. While we're out there, the neighbor comes out and sees us and immediately gets all aggressive. I introduce myself and let him know what we're doing there. Very aggressive, not happy at all that we're there. Now, his neighbor's house is for sale. There must have been a lot of people just like us walking to the backyard because that's the pathway to get into the backyard from the front. But he just wasn't happy at all that we were there and was like, had an aggressive tone towards us. Anyways, we continue going back into the house. We continue looking. We're on the second floor and we could see into the neighbor's backyard. It's a mess. It's worse than the front. It's the backyard is a mess. Stuff all over the place. It's overgrown. Now we're in the backyard, the house we're looking at. The fence is falling apart. The fence needs repair. And as we're looking a little bit closer and we're in the backyard, we could see the neighbors. He's got a whole bunch of cameras, more cameras than we would normally see when someone, just for security. Hey, somebody wants to have a ton of cameras, it's their business. They could do what they like. But there were cameras outside. Some of them looked like they were pointing into the backyard of the house we're looking at. There were cameras inside the house pointing outwards. From the second floor, looked like they were pointing. You could see it through the windows when we're looking in, cameras pointing in at our house. It gave my clients such an uncomfortable feeling. They loved the house, but we didn't put an offer on that house. And they kept saying, it's too bad that the neighbor is the way the neighbor is. The front lawn, the back lawn, the fence, the cameras, the aggressive tone, the attitude of the neighbor, all that caused us not to buy, which would otherwise have been a great house for my clients. So we didn't move forward with that. I'm telling you all this because there's many buyers that might have. There is going to be eventually a buyer that buys that. We were fortunate enough to observe some of these things, they're there for everybody to see. But sometimes buyers just get tunnel vision and they see what they want to see, and without even realizing it, they're ignoring so many other red flags. We've helped sellers sell because their life is so miserable because of their neighbor. Like they've been living a nightmare because of their neighbor. And when we put the home for sale, it's always, what's going on? How's our neighbor going to sabotage our sale? It's always on the back of the seller's mind. Well, with these buyers that we were looking at the house, we were fortunate enough to see these red flags. Be open-minded to everything about your purchase. Don't ignore the red flags. Just because it's a beautiful, awesome house, it's not just the house. It's the surroundings that will affect your life. Be open-minded. Think about everything else that's going on with that purchase, because you don't want to be one of these sellers that is going to live a miserable life because of your neighbors. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. And if you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, here we go. We're going to be focused on York Region, specifically detached properties for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. Richmond Hill is way up here. This is average sold price for 3 months. Richmond Hill often is much higher than Vaughan and Markham average sold prices go. And you could see the big difference here. We're going to start off with Vaughan for week ending October 22nd. 30 detached properties sold. 5 of those sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,598,000, which is up over the previous couple of weeks. But the average sold price in the previous couple of weeks was also quite low. Now, when I say quite low, I need to explain. I'm not suggesting in any way it's so affordable now. It's not at all what I'm saying, that, people are giving their homes away. I'm saying quite low in relation to the chart and where prices have been before. So 1,483 is much lower than 1,598, right? But overall, if we look at, say, since August, average prices overall to me look like they've come down. If we kind of come back to the spring market, average prices overall have been trending down. Compared to last year, 1,598 for the same week a year ago, it's currently 5% lower than the same week a year ago. The median price of 1,455 is 3% lower than the same week a year ago. The dotted line, that's a 4-week moving average. And it helps to smoothen out the highs and the lows, and many times can help us to spot a trend easier than seeing the peaks and valleys. Well, when we look at the average price in the 4-week moving average, if we're looking at, say, September onward, sure, it looks like average price has been trending down, but the median price kind of looks like maybe trending up a little bit. 30 were sold. 3 of those, so 10%, sold at list price or more. Active listings, there's 648 available detached properties for sale. And when we look at all the sales that we've actually done, so we've sold 30, but there's 648 to actually choose from. What we're saying is that 4.6% of all available detached properties in Vaughan actually sold. It's not a high percentage that's actually selling every single week. And if you want to compare it, the city of Toronto is 5.3% actually selling. So Vaughan, not doing as good as, say, the city of Toronto with percentage, but 5.6, 5.3%, you're really not going to notice a difference. Of the available listings, 648, 44% are listed at $2 million or more. 44%. Months of inventory climbed up a bit. We're now at 5 months of inventory. That's for Vaughan detached properties. Here's Richmond Hill. 16 detached properties sold. 6 of those sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price, it's just under $2 million. $1,976,000. One of the reasons you have these high peaks and valleys as far as average price goes for Richmond Hill, it's because of sales. You've got weeks of 8, 10, 14. We're here at 16. It's not such a large sampling of sales. And because of that, you get the big peaks and valleys when it comes to average sold prices. Compared to last year, $1,976,000 is 5% high. 5% higher. The median price of $1,534 is 13% lower. Two different pictures are being painted here. The dotted line, if we look at it's really tough. The peaks and valleys really make it difficult, but average sold price looks like it's trending up. The median price was trending up, but the last bit of September to now, kind of going the other way. 16 were sold. 3 of those, so 19%, sold at list price or more. There's 553 available detached properties for sale in Richmond Hill. 2.9% actually sold. That's one of the lowest percentages we have out there. And months of inventory, holding steady at 8 months of inventory. Here's Markham. Sales look like they're trending down. For week ending October 22nd, 18 detached properties sold. 1 of those sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,546,000. So if we look at just September, kind of looks like prices are kind of flat. If we go back a bit further, the end of spring, we can go back to spring, but we go, say, to the end of spring, average prices are lower now. Compared to last year, 1,546 is 9% lower than the same week a year ago. The median price of 1,552 is 2% lower. The dotted line, the 4-week moving average, kind of shows that average price hasn't changed that much actually for September, and median price may be trending up a bit. 18 were sold. 8 of those, so 44%. You see that percentage? 44% sounds like a ton. It's only 8. 8 sold at list price or more. Let's look at percentage of sales. So for Markham, out of what's available for sale, which is 495 available detached properties, 3.6% sold. Vaughan, 4.6% sold. Richmond Hill, 2.9% sold. City of Toronto, 5.3% sold. So Toronto, the city, when it comes to detached properties, a percentage of what's available for sale, how many actually sold, Toronto's outperforming percentage-wise than all these areas. Richmond Hill at 2.9% is the least performing out of the areas we're talking about here. And months of inventory for Markham has been climbing. We're now at 6.3 months of inventory. Here's a summary of months of inventory. In most cases, you're going to experience either a balanced market or a buyer's market, one of the two. But there are those situations where absolutely for the right property, you will be competing. It might catch you by surprise, but you will be competing. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.